Hey there, my name's Adam, and I really enjoyed reading your questions about Alfred Mann's translation of the study of counterpoint. I wanted to make this brief walkthrough to hopefully help us break down the complex music theory subject that you're talking about here. So keep in mind that this book that you're referring to was written in the early 1700s and was reliant upon music theory concepts that had been developing after the medieval and Renaissance eras. This was before Bach, it was before Haydn and Mozart and Beethoven, but all four of those composers actually attributed some influence to this publication. This book actually influenced our current concepts of music theory profoundly. So let's look at the first question. What does Joseph mean by fa leads down while mi leads up? So as you know, this book was written in like a dialogue form between Joseph, the student, and Aloysius, the master or the teacher. Conveniently, Joseph was also the name of the author, so I guess he was putting himself in the place of the student. Very clever. Okay, so he's talking about when he studied singing, he learned that fa leads down and mi leads up. If you're a vocalist, if you are in high school choir or collegiate level music studies, you probably learned solfege. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Right? Those note names have to do with the pitches in each scale. Now you'll notice I only have 6 notes in this one. It doesn't have the leading tone or the T in it. This is because back then, when this book was published, the author and music theorist Joseph Fuchs was reliant upon hexachords, and these 6-note scales only had one interval of a semitone or a half step between mi and fa. So Joseph is saying that mi tends to resolve to fa, while fa tends to resolve to mi. This is in terms of, scalar motion. It's in terms of chord progressions and in counterpoint techniques. So that's what he's referring to. If that doesn't make sense, please let me know. Going on to the second question for time, what is the reasoning for changing the F to an F sharp? So that has to do with measures 11 and 13. The measure numbers are on the top right here. Okay, so in measure 11, we have the D and an F sharp. Meanwhile, in measure 13, we have an A and an F sharp right here. So this F sharp is necessary in their terms to resolve into the G. This example is in G major. That's what we would consider it today. But back then, they just used hexachords. So they didn't actually use the T, the F sharp, that often. It was only when necessary could they add the sharp to resolve into the final measure. This is explained by Aloysius in that chapter. All right, so what do these numbers mean up here? This has to do with question number 3. What does he mean when Joseph says the progression moves upward from the 6th into a 3rd? So you'll notice these numbers are different than those ones up there, but these numbers are referring to harmonic intervals between each measure. So this, for instance, the 1 right here, is referencing the unison interval. Now you might be saying, well, these actually don't look like unisons, Adam. They look like octaves. This is a G and that's a G in a different octave. Well, you have to pay attention to the fact that these clefs are different. This is a treble clef. You're probably familiar with that. But this is an altered treble clef with an 8 under it. That's in place of the tenor clef, which was used originally by Joseph Fuchs. But when Alfred Mann translated and edited this book, he added these new clefs to help us out. So this clef right here, in place of a tenor clef, is actually an octave lower than the treble clef. So in measure 11 and 12, we have some movement between a 6th and a 3rd. That's what these 6s That's what the 6 and 3 says. The D to the F sharp right here resolves into the B and the G right here. Minor 6th into major 3rd. So it's moving upward, as he says, from the 6th into a 3rd. This F sharp is resolving upward into the G. That's what he means. It's resolving upward. So please let me know if you have further questions about this. It can be challenging to, digest all of this music theory, but please let me know and I'd be happy to respond to you. Thanks.